want to talk to you tonight really about what it means and truly what it means to take the hit. And what if I said to you right now that maybe at some point in your life, you're going to have to take a hit. And here's what I know, that most of us, we don't want to take a hit, that nobody enjoys taking a financial hit. Where you've been working on a job now and things are going well and you're making plans, and then you go to the job one day and they tell you that we've got to let you go. Nobody wants to take that financial hit where you've been investing in this investment and things are going well, and all of a sudden there's a radical change and this money that you had in this investment, you've lost it all. Nobody wants to take that financial hit when you've had this business, it's growing and things are starting to work, and all of a sudden now the marketplace changes. Some things start happening that are not stacked up in your favor, and you find yourself now struggling, figuring out how you're going to make this thing happen. Or maybe you're taking one of those physical hits where out of nowhere you find yourself in an accident, something happened, and now you're struggling to do the things that at one point came very easy for you. Maybe you're taking the physical hit where you went into a doctor and you went in for a regular checkup, and all of a sudden now they said that we feel a lump. Something doesn't look right. We've got to do some extra testing. Nobody likes that kind of hit. Or maybe you're just taking one of those hits in life, one of those personal hits. Yeah, when somebody that you love has really let you down. Yeah, they lied to you. They cheated on you. They betrayed you. You thought that you can count on them, but now they've proven to you that maybe perhaps they're not the person that you thought that they were. And so sometimes you're gonna have to take a hit. And so the question is, what good could possibly come from taking a hit in life? Why would you want to take a hit? And that's the question this guy literally brought up to me just yesterday. I was sitting there talking to this guy, and he's like, just like any proud father, he starts talking about his son. He says, listen, he said, Andy, I've got a 16-year-old son. He said, years ago, we were having problems. Kids were bullying him, and you know, he was having difficulty with his self-esteem and so forth. So me and my wife, we put him in martial arts. And now he's been in martial arts now for 8 years. And over these 8 years, we've seen him grow in stature. Over these 8 years, we've seen him grow in confidence. Over these 8 years, not only did he take up mixed martial arts, but now he's on a team and they travel around and they go through tournaments. And he says that, I said, well, do you go and check him out in the tournaments? He says, no, my wife, she can't watch him fight. And I've been to a couple of his tournaments. It's not an easy thing to watch. And he says that my son, he does the most bizarre thing. Every time he has a match, every single time he's about to get engaged in a fight and he goes to one of these tournaments, he says that my son, and I don't know why he does this, and he keeps telling me, he says, Dad, he said, listen, I don't know what it is, Dad, but when I get on that mat and I'm about to fight, Dad, he said, I like to take the first hit. I like to take the hit. And his dad looked at me, he said, Andy, I don't know why. I have no idea why my son would want to take a hit. Why would you want to take a hit? And so after he said that, I started to think about it, and I started to think, why would his son want to take a hit? And so the question is, why would you want to take a hit in this thing called life? Why would you want to take a hit and lose your job? Why would you want to take a hit and have a person that you love tell you that I don't know if I want to be with you anymore? Why would you want to take a hit and find yourself getting a bad medical prognosis? Why would you want to take a hit? And so what I realized is none of us want to take a hit, but when you're going through this thing called life, a lot of times it's unavoidable. It's something that you have to do. And so what good can come out of taking a hit? And so I started to envision his son out there on the mat. And I said, this guy's in the middle of a fight. Why would he want to start the fight by taking a hit? And so this is what I thought about. Number one, and if you're a note taker, I want you to write this down. Once you take a hit, if you were taking things lightly, once you take a hit, if you were sleeping through this thing called life, once you take a hit, that's when you realize that you're in a fight. And so if you're listening to me right now, you've taken a hit. and you've got let go from the job, realize that right now you understand that you are in a fight. If right now you're taking a hit in your marriage, understand that right now, from the moment you've taken a hit, that you are in a fight. If you've taken a hit when it comes to your goals and your dreams, if you've taken a hit when it comes to all the things that are important to you, your trust, the things that you desire in life, if you've taken a hit, now you're in a fight. Yeah, that's right. I remember being back in high school, and there'd always be that moment every once in a while. There'd be two kids that were getting in an argument. And then all of a sudden now there'd be a crowd and people are coming around. What's going on? What's going on? And they've taken their book bags off now, and now they're in each other's faces, and one guy's pointing his finger and the other guy's calling the other guy name, and you're just watching this exchange back and forth, but there's no fight. But let me tell you, the moment somebody gets hit, now the fight is about to begin. And so sometimes life is going to hit you. And at that moment, it's a wake-up call. It's a reminder, listen, you're in a fight. That once you've been hit, understand that now you're in a fight to be able to get back to where you were physically. Now you're in a fight to be able to get back to where you were financially. Now you're in a fight to get back to where you were emotionally. Once you've been hit, understand this, that you are in a fight. Yeah. And so I remember going through a couple of hits. Yeah, one of them I've shared with you. When I first left corporate America, I was excited and I was ready to be this bigwig investor. And I took all this money and I invested in Costa Rica. And guess what? I took a hit. I lost all that money. I lost it. It was the investment. It went bad. And let me tell you, at that moment, I knew that I was in a fight. That was a wake-up call. That you think getting out here on your own and being an entrepreneur, you think this thing was going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy, Andy. This is a fight. And welcome to the fight. The bell has originally rung right now. Ding, ding. The match is about to begin. Now you got to go back to your corner and sit down, or you got to stay out here in the middle of the ring and learn how to fight. And so I remember too, at one point, innocently, not knowing any better, co-signing on a student loan, trying to help somebody out. And then all of a sudden now, when it was time for the person to honor their commitment and make a payment, they said, hey, I'm not going to make the payments anymore. Oh, I had to take a hit. Yeah, where I thought that this person was going to honor their commitment and make their payments, and they decided to stop making their payments, and now I was going to inherit. All of a sudden now that student loan was going to be my loan. Yes, I had to take a hit. And then I remember a couple years ago, I was out away and I was in the Bahamas and enjoying myself and having a great time. And I just came back. I was like, man, it's my birthday month. I had a great time. Just got back home. 2-3 days later, I get a knock on the front door and boom, I get served some legal documents and I get introduced into the real world. I thought that in order to get sued, you have to do something wrong. No, I didn't know that in the real world, you don't have to do something. Anybody can get sued. Welcome. You've just been hit. And so I know right now as you listen to me that maybe you've been hit. And you're saying to yourself, why? Why is this thing happening? I don't deserve this. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a good person. I try to do the right thing. Why is my house upside down? Why am I having to do a short sale? Why am I going through foreclosure? Why? I've dedicated so much time and effort with this company. Why are they coming in here and laying me off? This person, I've helped them. I've loved on them. I've done everything right. And so now why are they breaking my heart? Why is it that now they're doing this thing? Or I've been a good person. I've helped people out. Why would I get this diagnosis? Why is this thing happening to me? Why do I have to take a hit? Why do I have to fight right now? Why is life getting my attention like this? And so I wish I had an answer. But what I realize is that we all got to take a hit. And the first thing to know when you take that hit is that now you are officially in a fight. And when you know that you are in a fight, all of a sudden now your posture changes. When you know that you're in a fight, all of a sudden now you have to start changing your mindset, and you realize that there's no retreating here. Once you realize that you are in a fight, all of a sudden now you start thinking of some reasons, some things that make it worth it for you to put up a fight for your marriage, some things that make it worth it for you to keep trying to make this business work, some things that make it worth it for you to fight back for your health, some things that make it worth it for you to keep fighting for your goals and your dreams. Once you know that you're officially in a fight, all of a sudden now you start getting yourself ready. All of a sudden now you start bracing yourself, understanding that this thing called life, it's not going to be easy. No, that at some point, I'm going to get hit. And now that I've been hit, now I know I'm in a fight. And so you say, Andy, now what? Now you know that you're in a fight. What's next? Now that you know you're in a fight, one of the other reasons why we take a hit is so that you can prove to yourself that you can take a hit. And most of us, we go through life and we try to avoid the hit because we just don't know how strong we are. We don't believe that we can handle this thing that we're going through. We don't believe that we can go ahead and go through this foreclosure, that we can go through this job loss and that somehow, some way that we can recover. We don't believe that we can get betrayed and somehow find a way to forgive and find a way to restore our marriage and restore our relationships. We don't believe that at this point, when we've been denied our goals and our dreams for so long, that we don't believe that somehow, some way that we can still stand, that somehow, some way that we can still accomplish these goals and these dreams. We don't know that we can take a hit. And so what I say to you is this: if you've taken a hit and you can hear my voice right now, understand that you're still standing. And yes, maybe you got laid off, but guess what? You're still here. And yes, maybe the doctor gave you a bad diagnosis, but guess what? You're still here. And yes, maybe that person that you love and that you've invested time and effort and energy in has betrayed you and broken your heart, but guess what? You're still here. And if you're still here, what it means is that you can handle it. You can deal with this thing. It hasn't taken you out. If it took you out, you wouldn't be able to hear my voice right now. If you can still hear my voice, yes, maybe it hurt. Maybe you got hit down on the canvas, but understand this, that you can handle this. Yeah, you can. And I know. You say, I don't know if I can handle this, Andy. I don't know. And I know the feeling. Yeah, I remember being so excited when I left corporate America, and I said, man, I'm going out here. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to make this thing happen, and I had these big dreams. And then when I invested in Costa Rica, and the guy that I thought was somebody I can trust, he didn't honor the agreement, and he stopped answering the phone, and he let me down and started avoiding me and just literally didn't respond after taking tens of thousands of dollars from me. And I started saying, I don't know, Andy, I don't know if you can do this, man. I don't know. Maybe you need to go back and ask for your job back. When I co-signed on that student loan, and it was the beginning of the month, every single beginning of the month, when I had to make the payment, I remember getting upset. I remember getting frustrated. I remember becoming bitter. The more that I thought about co-signing on that student loan, I used to say to myself, how stupid. Why did you do this? This is not even something you would normally do. Why would you co-sign? What were you thinking? But why would this person say that they were going to do something and then they don't do it? I can't handle this. But guess what? In both cases, I was able to handle it. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. But what I'm saying is if you've taken the hit, and you can hear my voice right now, if you've taken the hit and you're still breathing, it doesn't even matter if you're still standing. You may be laying on your back, but if you can still breathe, if you can still hear my voice, what it proves is that you can take a hit. that you can handle this, that you're stronger than what you think. There's something in you that still has a will, a desire to keep pushing forward and figure out how you're going to get back in that job market and get a job again. There's something in you that's saying that I can care less what the doctor has told me, that I'm going to diagnose myself, that the doctor went ahead and gave me a 3% chance, but 3% is all that I need. Even if he gave me a 0.001% chance, that's all I need. All I need to know is that there's a chance. If there wasn't a chance, then I wouldn't be able to hear this message right now. I wouldn't still be here. And so if you've taken that hit and that person broke your heart and you say, I don't know if I can forgive them, if you're still listening to me right now, then understand that you can handle it. You can forgive. You can get past this. Yes, it's difficult, but you can take a hit. Yeah. And so once you come to the realization that number one, that once you take a hit, that you are in a fight, and this is where it begins. This is when your posture begins to change. This is when you need to shift your mindset. This is when you need to start thinking about, how am I going to respond to this? And then once you get to the second point where you say, hey, you know what? I've just been hit, but guess what? I can take this. I'm just picturing this man's son on the mat. And maybe perhaps the reason why he takes that hit, and first of all, it's a wake-up call. He's like, okay, now I know I'm in a fight. When the guy said, I don't know why my son does this, but I get it. I understand it. Once he takes that first hit, all of a sudden now his posture changes. All of a sudden his breathing changes. All of a sudden now his focus changes. Now he knows I'm in a fight, and the same thing has to happen to you. You got to change your focus. You got to change your posture. You got to change your mindset. And then now, once the guy has hit him for the first time and he realized that he's not knocked out, he realized that he's still on the mat. Now he could say to himself, you know what? I took this hit and I'm still here on the mat. And if I'm still here on the mat, what it means is there's a possibility that I can win this fight. What it means is that I deserve to be here in this fight. What it means is that this person, this thing called life, that it hasn't taken me out. I can take a hit. And now when you've come to the realization that you're in a fight, and you've come to the realization that you can take a hit, the last and final thing, you have no other option, ladies and gentlemen. The last and final option is now it's time to fight. It's time to fight. And maybe for a while you were sleeping, you gave up on your goals and your dreams. Or maybe you were coasting through this thing called life. You were trying to do what was comfortable, and then life came around the corner and you got hit. And now you've come to a realization that I'm in a fight. Now you've come to a realization that I'm still here. Now this is the time to fight. This is the time that you push life back and say, hey, I know that right now you're trying to take away my will. I know that right now you're trying to take away this dream that I have, life. And I know you've hit me and this hurts. There's been times that I've laid down in my bed and I've cried and I'm still bruising and I'm starting to question my self-confidence and I'm starting to trying to wonder if I'm going to be able to get past this. But let me tell you something, life. I've got this thing in me, this will and this desire to fight. And so now I'm going to push back and I'm going to continue to start submitting my resume and going out there and seeing if maybe there's another job out there. I'm going to push back, life. And now I'm going to start getting on the internet and start doing some alternative medicine treatments. I'm going to start finding some teas. I'm going to start watching my weight. I'm going to start changing my diet. I'm going to start doing some things, see if I can shift this diagnosis. I know what the x-ray said. I know what the results said, but I'm fighting back. I'm going to start fighting back right now. And I know that you're saying that you don't want to be in this marriage anymore, but we can do some counseling. We can get back to praying together. We can get back to talking together. I'm going to take this hit and I'm going to start fighting right now. I know they're saying I'm too old. Yeah. They said, I'm not going to be able to do this thing. They're saying that they don't know why I'm still pursuing this goal and this dream. It's been years now. It's not working. Why don't you just give up? Why don't you just go and get a regular job? Why are you still going after this goal and this dream? Why are you doing this thing? Why are you fighting? Why don't you just lay down? Why don't you just say that you can't do this? Why do you still think that you can handle this? Why are you still fighting and talking to people about your business? Why are you still fighting and getting up every day and working on your craft and working on your skills? videos? Why are you still fighting and reading the books and reading the tapes and going to seminars? Why are you still fighting? Because that's my only option. Because I'm in a fight. And so when I came to the realization that I was in a fight, when I lost that money in Costa Rica, I had to start pushing back. And there was a part of me that wanted to retreat. But I had to start pushing back. I had to start talking to myself and say, Andy, you can handle this. I had to start pushing back and start reading the books and tapes. I had to start pushing back and finding mentors and people who had been through similar experiences who said, hey, listen, Andy, you lost what? That's okay. Listen, I've lost twice as much and I made a comeback. Know this, that a comeback is a setup for a setback is a setup for a comeback. Willie Jolly said that over and over again. And John C. Maxwell said that every breakdown prepares you for a breakthrough, that you can handle this. You got to keep fighting back. You've got to work on your mindset. You've got to find some people that can help you. You got to find a way to become better. You got to stretch. You got to grow. There's something in you that you don't know anything about. When I co-signed on that student loan and I was making those payments, at first I was getting bitter. I was getting frustrated. Then all of a sudden I started fighting back. I said, hey, don't blame that person. She didn't force you to co-sign on the student loan. You volunteered yourself. Hey, this is something that you're going to have to do. You're just going to have to look at it as this is now your debt. You've got to pay this. Now it just means you're going to have to learn how to generate some additional income. So this doesn't affect you the same way. You've got to fight back. You've got to learn how to handle this. When all of a sudden now I got that door at the front, the knock at the front door, I got served those documents. I was frustrated. This was nerve-wracking. I've never seen documents like that. I didn't know what to do, but I started making phone calls. I started doing some research. I started talking to other people who've been through similar experiences. I got down on my knees and prayed and got fortified. And I started fighting back. And every time you fight back, does it guarantee that you're going to win the fight? No, not necessarily. But here's what I know. Somebody said, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. And one thing is guaranteed. If you're willing to put up a fight, all of a sudden now you start to learn some things about yourself. If you're willing to put up a fight, there'll be a point where you get a little further down and you say, wow, now I understand why I had to go through that. Because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be prepared to walk into this opportunity. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to relate to this person and share my testimony. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to take my life now to the next level. I wouldn't be prepared for whatever's in store for me. And so sometimes you got to take a hit. And I know, nobody wants to take a hit. Maybe that's why this man was so confused. He said, Andy, I don't understand. My son, every time he gets on the mat, he said, Dad. And when I'm on the mat and I get there, for some reason, I want to take the first hit. I want to take it. And he's like, why would he want to get hit? Why would he want to get hit? But what his dad doesn't understand, once you get hit, all of a sudden now, you know you're in a fight. You've been hit. You've lost a job. You've gone through some medical issues. You thought you'd be further right now. This person that you love has let you down. They've hit you. Now you know I'm in a fight. I'm in a fight. I'm in a fight. Now my posture changes. Now my mind needs to change. Now I need to be mindful of what I'm putting in my mind. I need to focus. I need to concentrate. Don't focus on the things that you don't want to happen. I need to focus on where I'm going. I'm not focusing on what went wrong. I'm going to focus on what I want to go right. I'm going to make sure that I surround myself with the right people, some people who are sitting back in my corner who are going to be rooting me on, because now I'm in a fight. And when you're in a fight, you can't afford to have people around you who aren't rooting for you. You can't afford to have people around you who are taking swings at your back when you turn your back. You need some people who are in your corner, coaching you from the corner, telling you, duck, jibe. Hey, this is what you got to do. I've been in the arena before. I fought this opponent before. This opponent called cancer. This opponent called job loss. This opponent called bankruptcy. Whatever it is, I've been there before. You're in a fight. Stay in there. You can handle this. Now you've taken a hit. This is the part now that you've got to understand. You've taken the hit. It's already happened. Don't reminisce. Don't keep talking about it. Just come to one realization that you can take a hit. that you can handle this. Listen to me when I tell you this. You can handle this. You've taken the hit, but you can take this hit. And now that you've taken the hit, don't talk about it. Don't sit there and get frustrated. Get in the arena right now. You have no other option. You wish you didn't have to, but now you're in a fight. And so the only thing you can do when you're in a fight is now you've got to fight. Yeah. Right now. You got to fight. Somebody said you may not get everything you fight for in life, but everything you get in life, you will have to fight. And so this is your time right now. If you've been sitting in the corner, if maybe you ran out of the ring, you didn't want to get hit. It hurt too bad. That now this is the time to fight. You've got to fight and restore this marriage. You've got to fight and get back out there in the job market. You've got to fight and grab a hold of your health again. Forget what the doctor said. Forget what the x-ray said. Forget about the diagnosis. That you have got to fight. Forget about the fact that you're old. You don't have the degrees, whatever excuses you're making yourself, that you have got to fight. But because it's the only way that you're going to be able to make it to the other side. It's the only way that you're going to be able to make this comeback. It's the only way that you're going to have this breakthrough. So eventually, you've got to learn to take a hit. Yeah. Take a hit. This has been Andy Henriquez reminding you to always show up for your life. Because if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, no one else will.